Were we able to take this twig of a man and turn him into a rightful, sturdy king for East Anglia? Stick around and find out. Shortly after returning home from the north, your camp will get attacked by a big group of Danes. Now this is going to kick off the Oswald story, and I have to say it really ended up being one of my favorite stories that I've played through so far. It's a bit long, but with everything that happens in it, the diversity in it, all that you do for the guy Oswald, it's pretty good, I have to say. So we're going to take a deep look at this one. I thought it was special enough for me to single out and really cover the entire quest line, which I was able to record all of the footage, thankfully, with no hiccups. So here we go. It starts off with a big group of Danes attacking your camp. Nothing special there, just like any old other Assassin's Creed Valhalla story. You guys run outside, you kick some ass, and now the page kind of turns to, well, let's find out where these Danes come from and what do we need to do in order to stop them. Now, luckily, one of these Danes is captured alive, and you guys are able to question him and ask who he is and where he's from. He does spill some of the beans, saying that he is from a new group that just settled out in East Anglia, and they are quote-unquote hungry for silver, and that they were directed to come your way and raid camps along the river. Yours just happened to be one of them. So this is where you guys need to decide, what are you going to do? Send him home with a message or kill him? I decided to kill him because why let him live anyways? He was trying to attack us. And from there, you guys have to decide where you're going to go. Now, I went into the map room and pledged to go out to East Anglia to try and seek peace, which is where I had to go anyways to get a hold of this situation with these Danes. So the Dane attack kind of tied into the Oswald story. It's why we talked about it from the start. With this knowledge in hand, I headed south to East Anglia, where I met Finner. Now, going down south was a nice change of pace because I had gone up north and stayed up north for so long that I was kind of tired of seeing the mountainous terrain and all the snow. You go down south and you see a little more swampy lands and whatnot. So I get into this town and I meet Finner, who's basically in charge of appointing a king for this town. Now, he tells you that you guys have one, but he can't be seated until he gets married, and that they've had some problems in the past with their particular kings in place. And you kind of learn this by looking at the throne, and they got a bunch of arrows sitting in the chair. Now, apparently, they're just out here killing their king. Shortly after talking to Finner, you meet Oswald for the very first time. Now, obviously, from the start, just looking at this guy, you can tell that he is not the strongest man on earth. Probably not one of the stronger kings that we're going to wind up seeing in this game, but obviously, yourself is going to start to take a liking to him. So the first encounter you have with him is you walk up and he's talking to his townspeople, and he's really just being too nice about things. He needs to be a little bit more aggressive, and you end up saying that to him, and he says, "Hey, I'm Oswald. That's not me. That's not my bag, baby." So he kind of off the gate lets you know that he's a little bit of a pussy and that you're going to have to toughen him up. So you guys start talking, and you let him know that there has been a clan that went and raided your hometown, and that he says, oh yeah, that's Rued's clan. Now, this is the first time that you hear about Rued. He's going to be a big part of this quest line because obviously he's going to be the person at the end that you guys have to fight. So as you're talking, he says, hey, ride with me down my road to the house so we can talk. And you guys come up on a little farm, and the farm looks like there's been some shit happening. So you say, look, stay here. I'm going to go and take a peek because obviously, I mean, what is Oswald going to do for you? And sure enough, they have attacked the farm. So you take everybody out and you go back to Oswald, and he says, oh, thank you. Now, this is where he says, hey, I need to head home because I need to go back to my family, who's very unimpressed with me. Now, this is where you kind of learn that he really is a pussy because his family hates him because of that reason, because he's not strong. And he invites you to dinner. He says, come to dinner with me. Maybe that'll change their minds if I'm hanging out with somebody cool and tough like you. What do you say? And obviously, we ain't got shit else to do. So we head right over to his house to go have some dinner. Now the supper starts, and you get to meet the lady that Oswald is trying to meet, as well as her two brothers. And off the jump, you can tell that they just absolutely do not like Oswald, as they pretty much sit there and consistently throw little jabs towards him, saying stuff like, you get to sleep with our sister, but you're not going to end up sleeping with us. Hilariously enough, I need you to keep that in mind for a little later down in the story. And you can tell that it kind of gets to Oswald because he says, look, this is my longhouse, and if you don't like it, you can get the fuck out. And, well, testosterone starts flowing, and they're like, we're not leaving anywhere. You want to sit here and you want to take up for your little friend over there, the Dane, that's me. And obviously, we're not going to have any of that, so we start mouthing back to the brothers, and all hell breaks loose, and a table gets flipped. You end up starting to fist fight these guys. Hilariously enough, I need you to keep this in mind too, that you fist fought with the two brothers to the point where you kick their asses, and Finner has to say, look, enough is enough. It's been a long day. We've all had a lot of fun. We've all been drinking. Let's hit the hay, and I'll see you in the morning. Now, as a side note, I want to say that I don't know if Avar did this because he really just knew if he would turn this guy into the actual king, he'd have an easy alliance with East Anglia, or if somewheres within his heart he did kind of grow a soft spot for Oswald, seeing how the brothers treated him and really just seeing how much of a pussy the guy was. But he is going to wind up helping him a lot. I mean, he is going to go out of his way to try and train him, show him how to fight. It's going to be a whole thing. So for me, I couldn't really distinguish if it was because he saw a friend in him, potentially, or if he was really just kind of fishing for that alliance. And you kind of see that towards the end of the Longhouse brawl here, because Oswald says, are you going to stick around? We have a lot to discuss. And you go, well, yeah, I'm going to go lay down. See you in the morning. Now, I don't know if the supper really got to Oswald from the night before, but the next day you meet up with him and he's at the docks and he's a bit distraught about everything. He kind of realizes maybe he's not the man for the job to be the king, and you guys exchange a few words. Well, one thing leads to another. Finner walks up and kind of tears into him a little bit, saying, look, you need to get your head out of your ass and start acting like you're going to be the king around here, because that's what you're inevitably trying to be, right? Well, one thing happens, and they start kind of tallying with each other, where they're doing these rhyme and rhythm things, and you're helping him out. You're kind of getting his spirits up, I guess, because really and truly the night before was kind of rough for him to experience. Well, one thing leads to another, and Oswald challenges Finner to a fight to the death, where you go, hey man, you don't mean that. You really don't mean that. And he's like, I do. I have to prove myself to everybody. Well, you being the nice character that you are, you're going to kind of take this one under your wings, and you say, look, I'll fight you. It's not going to be to the death, but I'll fight you. I'll kind of give you your sea legs, so to speak. And you guys head off to this little secluded island where you and Oswald kind of have a little fist fight. Obviously, you beat the fuck out of this guy because he really can't fight, but he appreciates it. It kind of gets him going. It really gets this dude juiced. And he says, you know what? There's a camp nearby with the same people that raided your clan, raided my clan. Let's go hit them up. So you go, hell yeah, I'm in. Freaking easy loot, and we can get rid of some of these guys that have been a pain in our ass. So you guys sail out there and you do the little raid. The raid's a really quick one, easy, successful. And after this, Oswald says, this is surely going to get my soon-to-be brother-in-laws on my side. This is really going to make them like me. He's going to be wrong, but you guys head back to town to show them the spoils of war. You take a bunch of loot items, and his plan is to give this to his brother-in-laws and his soon-to-be wife and really impress everybody. So basically, as you can imagine, you guys get back to town, and the brother-in-laws, well, the soon-to-be brother-in-laws, they aren't really married at this point, him and Valdis, but the soon-to-be brother-in-laws are just absolutely not impressed. They are not having it. They're basically spitting in his face with their words, saying, look, we are not going to accept these gifts. I don't have time for this, all this bullshit, after he put in so much hard work and effort to try and really get them to like them. So they say all that, and the conversation is shortly interrupted with someone walking up with a dead body. Now this dead body ends up being one of Ruit's men, a spy, and everybody kind of gets freaked out. They're going to send you out and about to try and see if you can't find maybe another one lingering around the camp, which you do. Now, oddly enough, while I was out and about trying to find this second spy, there was some lady just on the side of the road puking. I thought that was really funny. I wanted to throw that out there. Don't know what she was doing, and I couldn't talk to her. There wasn't any dialogue, so whatever. That's weird. So you find this second spy. I punched him once on accident, probably almost killed him. Thankfully I didn't. Brought him back to everybody, and this is where he starts to squeal. So it takes a little convincing to get this spy to talk, but eventually he does tell you a few things. He tells you that the plan was for them to attack Northwick as soon as some banners were lit in a specific town. And after that, he kind of looks at Valdis and says some weird things. He says that Ruick sends his regards, something along those lines, and basically has everyone shook, everyone wondering why did he say that. You learn that Valdis was once married to Ruick, so that's her ex-husband. She had ran away from him like 5 years ago, hasn't seen him since. Now, I don't know if these attacks, specifically on Oswald's area, is because of this. I wouldn't imagine so. Obviously, they're just trying to get loot and whatnot, but that ties in. So now Oswald's trying to marry the lady that he was married to, who ran away from him. So we're trying to figure out what to do, and Oswald big dicks it, and he says, hey, I need to speak to Ruick face to face. And Finner's like, oh god, here we fucking go. Oswald's gonna die, and everyone's just kind of like, okay, that's not really the best idea, but we're kind of interested to see what happens. So you guys head off for Dunwich, where you're gonna basically infiltrate their camp, and oh my god, here's where it really picks up. This is where a lot of shit is gonna start to happen. So you guys arrive at Dunwich, and after a not so sneaky infiltration, which included of me killing everybody at this goddamn camp, we lit the torches, and that was supposed to be the signal for Ruick and his men to show up there, where they were going to start the infiltration of the town that we were in, Northwick. So he shows up, and he's like, oh, hey, you know, kind of running his mouth a little bit. Well, one thing leads to another, and Oswald goes, no, you can't fight this fight for me. I have to do it because my people need me, and I need to show myself. So these guys start going at it, and this is where Oswald really kind of shows his heart, where he wants to try and be a better person. He wants to try and be a stronger person, but obviously he's not going to beat Ruick. It's going to have to be me that's going to do the job, but for this particular moment, it's not. They're fighting, boom, they both go over the edge. No one knows what to do, so now we kind of fight our way out of it, a little shimmy, and we run away. I slip up as a regular human, not the character, and I fall off the goddamn cliff as I'm running away, so it wasn't as sneaky and as clean as of a getaway as I would have liked it to been, but we ended up managing to get away, and this is where we all are going to head back to town and kind of regroup. Now, once we get to town, all of a sudden, everyone has miraculously heard of Oswald's big frickin' heroic fight with Ruick. And all of a sudden, this was all they needed to hear for them to be like, revenge for Oswald. All of a sudden, they care about the poor guy. When not moments ago, earlier in the story, they were all like, fuck this pussy. We don't want him to be our king. So now you guys need to take some time and gather enough people, enough support, bigger troops, because obviously now there's a war brewing, and Ruick is going to get what's coming to him for the sake of Oswald, for our friend Oswald. Now, after spending a good bit of time running some raids and helping other people out, you finally amass enough people to feel like you have enough people to go and finish off Ruick at his castle where him and the rest of his men lay. Now, before I talk about the raid, I want to first speak on this particular part of this whole storyline, which happened to be my absolute favorite. It's when you're in the ship, headed towards the castle, and everyone that's inside of the castle is shooting flaming arrows at you. They really did a fantastic job at capturing this in game. I always see stuff like this on Viking style TV shows and I go, dang, that's a cool shot. Well, they really did a great job at putting this through in the game, so I'm gonna let it play for just a little bit so you can get an idea and a feel. I'm gonna shut my big mouth up and let you guys enjoy it as much as I did. So once you guys get inside of the castle, and I'm not going to spoil that for you because I want you to have something to look forward to when you play this quest line, but know that it's a grand spectacle. The battle is huge. You have to fight, I want to say it's 3, what I'll call levels. It's 3 doors that you have to get through, and on the final one, oh my god, what do you know it, Oswald's still alive, and so is Ruick. They've just been sitting here at this castle this whole time waiting for you and your men to show up. Now, shit comes to shit and you end up fighting Ruick, obviously, and there's kind of a moral decision to make here at the end of it. Do you kill Ruick, or do you let Oswald trial him in front of everyone, because obviously it's kind of on the path now where Oswald will be the king no matter what. I said, I'm a Viking, fuck this. Ruit has caused enough problems for me and my people, Oswald and his people, however many more people he can give problems to, so I kill him. Now, this does not sit right with Oswald. Oswald is kind of upset with me, but, you know, he'll get over it. He's going to be a king. And this is pretty much where this sequence ends, and we head back to town because now we're on the back end of this quest line, storyline, and we attend Oswald's wedding. The wedding's kind of normal. They announce him as king. He gets married. The two brother-in-laws freaking love this guy, and then you get to go walk around and enjoy some of the festivities. One of the brothers comes up to you and kind of starts hitting on you in a special way. And boy, has our relationship come a very long ways from fist fighting in the longhouse to wanting to butt fuck me behind the longhouse. So I politely declined and go about my business. Now the whole story kind of wraps up with everyone thanking you. You're obviously a hero. You've turned Oswald into a man, into a king. He's married now. Ruit's gone. You didn't fuck his brother. It's a whole sloom of things. And it really ends with you going up to Finner, because during the wedding festivities, Finner kind of tells you how he misses being out on the water and he misses doing these raids. And you go up to him and you say, hey man, if you want, you can come sail with me and my men. I'll take you out of this place now that you have a proper king that people actually like. You don't need to be here. They don't need you. Come sail with me and my people. And he accepts. And off you guys go into the freaking quest. This story so far has been one of my favorites, and I don't really know why. It was just fun from start to end. I hope you guys enjoyed this story, enjoyed hearing me ramble. Hopefully I come across another quest line that I enjoy this much, so I can do another one of these videos. But if not, well, Oswald, we thank you. So I hope you guys really and truly enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.